So let me welcome everyone here to the Blab. My name is Dr. Will. I'm known as America's #1 leadership life trainer. I work with leaders, entrepreneurs, in helping them develop clarity and leaving a legacy. Today, we're going to be talking about selling your business. I was going to be doing this with my friend Jasmine O'Day, but they had a storm in Dallas, so she's having some connection problems. But because we have you guys here, and I like to maximize time, there's some other people here that have sold businesses before, and so I have here now. I know your name is not Monster, so go ahead and tell me your name.
It's Marie.
Marie?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so go ahead and tell us about the business that you sold and what that experience was like.
Yeah, sure. I had a web design business for about conservative 8 years. I would say 10, but the first 2 years I wouldn't count. And I had a pretty big client list, but I didn't get to pick and choose who I wanted to work with as much. And I had another web designer friend come around and, they became a friend after and asked to buy my client list from me and have me basically make all these introductions, and she overtook the business more or less. We also kind of got into social media marketing around that time, but we did more web design than we did anything else.
And so what made you decide to sell it actually?
We started, and I don't want to talk, I promise I didn't come in here to pitch my current business at all, but we started my current business and it allowed me to work. I mean, I was working from home anyways, but it allowed me to work more around my children and have more free time and work with the type of clients I actually wanted. My first business I more built out of necessity and I had the skills to do it. But I felt like I was more of a slave to the business. Like I wasn't running it. It was running me, if that makes any sense.
Right. So selling the business really gave you an opportunity to kind of recreate yourself and get some clarity on what you really wanted to do.
You just summed up everything I said in a sentence. Yes. Much more eloquently than I could. Sorry.
Now, this business that you have right now, will you eventually sell it? Do you want to scale it? What do you want to do with the business that you have right now?
We're scaling. It's actually doing really well. We were just on the Discovery Channel. We're getting lots of publicity. And I would sell it for the right price, but I love it so much that I would probably keep it and try to partner with someone rather than sell. We don't exactly have an exit strategy because it was just going to be a pet project that just took off.
Awesome. So she just brought up a great phrase that I wanted to talk about and introduce, and that's an exit strategy. So I know I'm talking to entrepreneurs and I'm talking to business owners, and my clients that I always work with, we always start with the exit strategy and what that exit strategy is. But one of the first questions that I always ask all my clients is this, and this is what I want to ask to everybody on the chat. And I would like for everyone that's on the chat to kind of answer this. What do you want, the current business that you have right now, what do you want that business to do for you? What do you want that business to do for you? A lot of times as entrepreneurs and business owners, we're always thinking about what service we're going to provide for other people and what our product and what our service is, but what do you want the business to do for you? And that's a question that I always ask, because just like Marie said earlier, she had a business that wasn't serving her greater purpose. She had a business that really put her into a prison, would you say?
Yeah, it was. I mean, I'm not saying the people were bad. It just wasn't my forte. I wasn't working in my flame, if that makes any sense.
Right. It definitely does. And so I see Zakia. Zakia, you said, I'd like it to be a legacy to pass on to my daughters. Now, what business do you have? What business do you have, Zakia? And hop in, Jasmine.
I was going to say I could hop out if you want me to, too.
No. So I do want, because I have you here, and thank you so much. And everybody follow Monster Treehouse Maria. I do want to know what that process was like for you when you sold the business. Was it an emotional one? Was it a joyous one? I know it was a business that you didn't want anymore, but what was the business like?
It was terrifying because it was new territory, and I was going. I mean, it was a six-figure, lower six-figure, but it was a six-figure business for me, and to know that I'm going from making that six figures to, I mean, you get you get a nice chunk of money for selling your business, but knowing that that residual income was not, well, it wasn't residual, but the income every month wasn't going to keep coming was terrifying because no one in my family's ever sold a business. I don't think anyone in my family has ever ran a business, much less six figures. So it was really scary coming to the realization of, okay, I have enough of a nest egg. I've got a great offer. I have an idea for something that may work. It may not work. We haven't fully tested it. And this also means the end of that monthly income coming in. But I knew that my heart wasn't in it, so I was already half out the door. And I don't believe in staying half out the door, if that makes any sense. You get in or you get out. So I wasn't doing my customers any service by being half out the door in it either. So.
Awesome. So you brought up some great things that we're going to, since Jasmine is here now, we're going to address it. But thank you so much. I'm glad that we had an opportunity to meet here on Blab. I'm following you now, so I'll be looking and seeing what else you're into.
All right. Thank you. I'll hop out now.
So look who decided to show up.
Hey.
So thank you guys so much for hanging out. Jasmine was able to get in. I don't know what she did. She must have called the president of her internet service provider and got in here. But this is who I was going to do the Blab with. So let me change the name. And that's the cool thing about Blab. You can change the name in the middle of the. So let me change it. Let's Blab. Ooh, okay. I thought I deleted the show. All right. Let me leave it alone before I mess something up. But can you hear me? Okay.
I can hear you.
So I'll change it later. So Jasmine and I, we're both entrepreneurs. We both sold companies before. And I wanted to do this show because this is a subject that I don't hear a lot about individuals selling their business, especially entrepreneurs. It's going on all the time. And let me more say, I don't hear it in our community that much. And so I kind of wanted to bring this topic up and give you guys some ideas maybe that you haven't thought about. One of the things that I see for us is that we fall in love with companies. Like this is my baby. This is what I've been dreaming about. And so this is what I've always wanted to do. And I'm going to have this to the day I die, or I'm going to pass it down. And a lot of times we're building something or working hard on something that our kids probably don't even want, And so I want to bring some understanding and give you some insight, and Jasmine will give you some insight to even see if you're building a business that is transferable or something your kids would want. And so I'm so happy that Jasmine is here. And I want to start off by Jasmine giving us her background, because I want to give you some context. And when I speak to people, I like to speak to people that are not believing about doing it, not dreaming about doing it, but that have actually done it. So therefore, you can get some legitimate information. So Jasmine, give us your backdrop, give us your story. Who are we getting ready to learn from?
You are getting ready to learn from a fearless woman who started out as a have-to-preneur. A half-entrepreneur is someone who had to step into a business ownership situation to create multiple streams of revenue for her family. I was a young mom, 18 years old. I had my first son. And by the age of 23, I had 3 sons and was going through a divorce. And at the age of 19, I got into the vending machine business. And it wasn't even something that I thought about doing. It just kind of came my way. Any type of opportunities that have ever come my way, if they made money and they made sense, I did them. You know, I was that type of person. You know, I would jump in. I would, you know, back then you couldn't do the research that you do now. I asked the necessary questions, you know, and I've made some great, you know, choices, and I've made some messed up decisions in my life and business, which is why I'm able to do what I do now. So I started out vending machine business, and I also was working 2 jobs. And over the years, I have acquired several businesses. I now am a venture capitalist. I own an investment firm. I am a cannabis business owner, a publishing company owner. I'm a consultant. I am a business wealth coach. I have over 30 businesses under my corporate umbrella, under my control. And I believe in having streams of revenue that if anything ever happens, if I lost it all, I still have something with passive revenue that's bringing income into the bank. And so in my life, I had some businesses that were pretty attractive. I've owned a gentleman's club. I've owned liquor stores with my father. I had the vending machine company. I have a cleaning company that I started while I was homeless, and it generates over $13 million a year. So I believe that at the time when I was starting businesses, I didn't think about, let's grow this to sell. It wasn't something that I thought about. I was running a business to make money and to make a lot of it, or make enough of it to sustain the lifestyle that I wanted to have. Back then, I was only concerned about taking care of my children. That was really my concern. And the truth of the matter is, Dr. Will, there are a lot of people, especially women right now, they're not thinking about growing their business to multi-millions to leave to their children or sell or whatever. They are just running businesses to sustain the lifestyle that they desire to live. And when you take that mindset, okay, and you switch over to, okay, I'm building this business, it's going very well, it's making $300,000 a month. What do I do next? Am I going to continue to do this, or am I going to take it to another level? And if I want to take it to another level, what level is it going to be? So from a business standpoint, a business owner standpoint, from an investor and venture capitalist standpoint, what I want to bring to this panel tonight is a few things. I want to show you what venture capitalists and investors look for, okay? Is your business something that you can sell? What type of business are you in? So I want to bring some light to the table for questions that people are probably thinking about. Well, I do have a business that makes about 40 or 50 a month. And okay, so what steps do I need to take if I want Jasmine to consider buying my company? Those are some things that I'm going to bring to light. And you're right. Someone mentioned about generational wealth is dying. Sadly, the truth is it doesn't have to. It doesn't have to die. As a matter of fact, it's quite easy to build generational wealth once you have a wealth mindset. Once you have a plan of action, this is what I want to do. I'm not going to let anything stop me. I'm going to stop the frivolous spending, and I'm going to build generational wealth. So stop spending money and start investing in money. Stop spending money, getting a new car every other year and paying these car payments, and start investing and having a beautiful portfolio. Dr. Will and I both have some beautiful portfolios. And the truth of the matter is, if we lost everything tomorrow, we could live off of what's in our portfolio. We have liquid. Okay. So it's very important to get yourself and your business to a point where you don't have to worry about, you're not really concerned if the market crashes tomorrow, if your line of business is no longer lucrative tomorrow. You have things to fall back on that make you say, it's okay, right? So that's what we want to bring to you today. We want to enlighten you on, what type of business do you have? Because when I was running the vending machine business, I never thought about selling it. It was just a vending machine business. Not realizing, and even now, not realizing how lucrative it was, especially when you own over 15 vending machines and you've got contracts with corporations that you lock in for 2 and 3 years at a time, and they can't even get out of those contracts. So now you know how much money they're going to be bringing in. And when somebody offers to buy it from you, now you know how to leverage. Now you know how to look at what you're bringing in. How much do you want for why? And to be honest with you, what percentage on top of that do you want? Because now, like the young lady said, you no longer have that money coming in every month. So what is the right price to sell your business at? So that's who you're dealing with. I'm a money person. I'm really big on, you want to do what? Okay, hold on a second. And I'm breaking down the numbers because I'm a number person. And when you have a number person in your corner, or you are a numbers person, you handle your business a little bit differently, because it's no longer about, I'm going to put this coaching program in and I'm only going to charge $4.99. No, it's okay if I just get 10 people. You're more like, no, I'm going to do this coaching program and I'm going to charge $5,000 and I'm going to get 20 people. See, when you're a numbers person, and you know exactly the lifestyle you want to have, you know exactly where you want to be in 5 or 10 years. When it's time to sell your business, someone comes to you and said, I want to buy your business for $100,000. You know exactly the rebuttal language that you need to give to them to say, no, 100,000 is not enough, especially when you make 100,000 in 3 months in your business.
Exactly right. And so here's the context that we want to frame here, because this is a subject that we don't talk a lot about. And for me, I'm a numbers guy as well. And so when I look at things, everything is about the numbers. When people ask me, how did you determine your pricing for your coaching, for this or that? I all base it on my quality of life. How did I want to live? And so a lot of times when I'm talking with my clients, I say, how much do you want to earn a month? And let's just throw a number out there. And they say, everybody always says, $20,000. And so I say, okay, we want to earn $20,000. Let me see your highest ticket price product. And their highest ticket price product is like $200. So now how many people do you have to serve to get up to $20,000? Now, not only how many do you have to serve, but how many do you have to be in contact with every single month to get the amount that you need to reach the 20,000. And so a lot of it, if you're listening to us today, a lot of it, you need to start asking yourself different questions. What is my quality of life? What do I want my quality of life to be? And as I started, I don't know if Jasmine was on here yet, but one of the first questions I ask my clients is, what do you want the business to do for you? I know what you want to do for other people, but what do you want the business to do for you? Because once we figure that out, now we can structure the business correctly. Do you want it to just generate residual income? Do you want it to be something that you can pass down? Or do you want to scale it so we can sell it? So what you want this business to do? And so a lot of times what I see entrepreneurs doing from the get-go, if you're not setting up your business where your business doesn't need you, you're setting it up the wrong way. And a lot of times, if you're, a solopreneur or whatever the terminology is now, if you stop, meaning if you can't work for 2 weeks, if you can't work for a month, what happens to your business? If your business stops when you stop, then you don't have a business. If you have to stop and your business stops, then you don't have a business. And so we have to start learning what our terminology is in this space, because this is a whole different language you got to be able to speak. And so a business is something that generates income, reoccurring, right? without the need of you being in the business every single day. And so it goes to the systems that we set up. So all of my clients, they know whether you want to sell it or not, we're going to design your business like a franchise. We're going to put your business in a box, meaning I can hand my business to Jasmine right now and say, here you go. Here's the operations, here's the blueprints, and this is what you need to do. And so that's what you want to start thinking about your business. So first, we have to even, like Jasmine said, we have to figure out, do you even have a business that is attractive to venture capitalists? Do you even have a business, like I hear a lot of people always say, I want to build something to pass down to my kids. But in theory, you're not building something that you can pass down. They don't want to be in the service business that you're in. They don't want to sell Avon or whatever. And so you got to know the difference. The Avon may just be a reoccurring revenue stream for you, but it may not be something you can hand. You can't hand that off. You can't pass that down. So that's where we want to start this conversation at. And that's what we want to start looking at. So Jasmine, tell us a little bit about some of it, and then I'll share with them some of the businesses that I own. And I think it's really going to start helping people to understand the possibilities that are out there, because a lot of times people are thinking, well, I'm not passionate about this, or I'm not passionate about that. I'm not 75% of the businesses that I'm involved in, I'm not passionate about it. I'm passionate about the revenue that it provides for me. So go ahead and talk about some of the stuff you got, Jasmine.
I agree. I'm glad that you said that, because I can't tell you that I was passionate about the cleaning business. It was just something that I started because I knew it was recession proof, and I knew that it could make money rather quickly and with low start up costs. So the cleaning company actually is no longer just in one territory. I'm actually in 11 territories now, and I am in the process of franchising it. So when you get a business to a point where it is ready to franchise or it's attractive, that is something that you want to write that down. Getting a business to a point where it's wanted everywhere or in different territories. The second thing, back then, a vending machine company, and it was one of the most popular vending machine companies back then in the 90s. And so it was really easy to gain the attention of a business owner that kind of wanted to cut out the middleman, which was me, the middlewoman. A gentleman's club, a gutted out front that my father, my uncles, and a couple cousins helped to reconstruct and turn it into something, started attracting athletes, and just before you know it, it was getting a lot of traffic. And I was the only Black-owned woman gentleman's club owner at that time. So what happened was it gained a lot of popularity. As I said on one of the other calls, on one of my periscopes, my godfather is a famous R&B singer. So I knew a lot of people at a really young age. And back then I had also got my hands into a little bit of PR with people that I know. And so they would bring people to the gentleman's club. Well, a businessman came in there one day, and he kind of said, and I watched him, he was a regular, not realizing he was casing the place, not realizing he was paying attention to the operations, not realizing he was paying attention to the traffic. And so one day he approached my attorney, not realizing that was my attorney, and he thought he was my business partner. And he said, I'd like to have a sit-down meeting and communicate about possibly buying the place. And when he came to me, and I was only in my 20s then, I said, it's not for sale. That's the first thing that came out of my mouth. Why? Because we're not taught to sell businesses. I mean, immediately it's like you're living in your dream home and somebody knocks on your door, I want to buy your home. It's not for sale. Everything has a price. When somebody wants something, trust me, everything has a price. Okay? So we sat down and had a meeting about it, and he threw out a number, and I said, So my accountant and I, my attorney, were looking over the numbers, and I said, I'm not taking that. And he kind of looked at me, and I'm thinking, yeah, I only paid $35,000 for it. That's it. Only paid $35,000 for it. But look at what it's bringing in. It's very popular. You know, I have people like Gerald Levert in here and athletes, and try again, right? And even then, I was a very assertive, shrewd businesswoman. I wasn't going for it. I knew that if he wanted it bad enough, he would look at my numbers, look at the things that I wrote down, and he would come back with another number. I'm like that. I feel like if you really want it, you'll do whatever it takes to get it. So if you came out really quickly with a number that was over $500,000, I'm sure you can come up with another number that's closer to $1 million. Mind you, $35,000 is all I put out of pocket. Okay. So the next meeting we had was with another businessman. Apparently, he had heard about it. So now we're in a bidding war. Why? Because the territory that it's in, the area that it's in, is a very good high traffic area. The business was very lucrative, cash over fist, over hand over fist. And so now I have two people that want this club. And I started to think, and I went to my father and I said, now my father had done nothing but owned mechanic shops. He was a Marine, and I'm the one that gave him the idea at 9 years old, actually 7. I said, Dad, every time I come home, there's cars in here. Why don't you just open up your own garage? So by the time I was 9, my daddy had his own garages. I was at a very young age, someone that when I saw something, I was a visionary. So I asked him about it. I said, what do you think about this? Now, he wasn't one that was savvy on selling businesses or anything like that. My dad knew how to make money, period. He knew how to make money. And he said, well, what's it generating a month? And I told him. And I said, this number's not going to work, because if I want to live off of this, I can continue with the club. So we sat down with the second businessman. The second businessman came with a better offer. And I went back to the first business plan and I upped the offer. And I said, get back with me on Friday. He came in the club on Friday and he said, I'm not too sure I can do that. I said, okay, that's fine. So my attorney and my accountant, they put a little bug in my ear. They said, I'm going to say something to you and I don't want you to be afraid. If you don't sell to one of these, if one of these isn't attractive to you, I want you to be careful, because I don't want you to come back and your building is burnt down. And I looked at him and I said, and my accountant said, who's Jewish? He said, let me be real blunt with you. You're the only Black owner of a strip club in this area. Need I say more? And it really made me think, Dr. Will, he was back then. There were no Black businesswomen doing what I was doing. There were no Black strip club owners in my town at the time. And I said, I hear you. Okay. Well, you know what? Let's slide them both a number and see what we can get. And it was a 7-figure number and I got what I asked for. So I held out because I knew by them waiting that long, I knew they would give me what I want. From there, because my dad and I was already in the liquor business, I started to put a bug in his ear about selling in liquor stores. My dad had one of the first drive-through convenient beer stores, okay? And if you've never seen or heard of a convenience store that sells beer, I mean, literally, you can drive through and you can buy your beer and wine, just drive through and they get you what you want. Well, my dad had one of those. And when I tell you it was making money, it was making money. And then, of course, we had 2 small ones. And I started to put a bug in his ear. I said, Daddy, I think we can sell these. I think we can sell these. He said, well, they're not for sale. I said, everything has a price. I mean, I had already went through it. So here it is. I'm excited. And I'm thinking, shoot, you know what? By the age of 30, I'm going to be sitting real pretty. That at that point, Dr. Will, I had a different mindset. I don't want to be working like crazy. I've got 3 sons, and they were little, and they were in this and they were in that, and I wanted to enjoy. So I said, I'll be darned. Guess what? See, I told you I won't drop the F-bomb. I said, I'll be darned. Guess what? Let's try to sell it, right? So believe it or not, this stubborn Jamaican man, my father, said, okay, all right, let's look at some numbers. Let's try it. Let's look at it. Well, we had a guy who owned several convenience stores in the city. We called him Pops, okay? And Pops was from the Middle East, and we went to him, and we presented to him all 3. And he didn't have a drive-through convenience store, and he didn't have, the liquor stores. And so it was very attractive, very attractive. Well, that sale took a little bit longer. That sale actually took about 8 months. However, what we did was we continued to make it attractive. So these are some of the things that we did. We got some more different type of inventory. We did kind of an overhaul inside where we made it a little bit, we just kind of enhanced the appearance. Well, then we started advertising, and then we got, a local ad. So we made it very attractive. Once we made it attractive, Pop started to get nervous because now it's all over the place. We've already went to him with the offer, and he couldn't purchase it at the time. So now he's interested. Well, now the price just went up because you just made us sit for 8 months. And now we've just made it more attractive, and we've put a little bit of money into it. So now if you want it, you've got to come with it. Show me the money. I don't care about anything else. I'm like Kevin O'Leary on Shark Tank. All I care about is the cash, the moolah, the dinero. Let me see the money, right? Believe it or not, it was easy, painless. He didn't rebuttal because I think he knew. Now, we probably could have sold him for more than what we did. But at that time, we were learning. I was excited. I was really excited about that because here I am. I sold this business, of course, with the help of my attorney and my accountant. But now I'm helping my father sell this business, And so I started to think about what we did that was wise, what we did that was smart. So I wrote all that down. He said no at first. He did. It was not an easy, okay, fine. He said no. But let me tell you something about a no. A no can be swayed into the next direction, into a yes, if you use the right mouthpiece. If you know what to say and your numbers are right, that no is going to turn into a yes, because all that no meant for 8 months was, you're right, Jamila, not right now. No, not right now. Oh, maybe later. See, I don't see maybes. I see there's going to be a yes somewhere in this situation. And whatever we need to do, we're going to do it. So we got that done. Now we have 3 businesses, the vending machine business, the gentleman's club, and the liquor business. Sold. I'm not even 30 yet at this time. I'm not even 30 yet. So then my father's shops. Let me just say, he's an island man. He's Jamaican, and he's a Marine. He was quite stubborn. So I did hear, this is my baby. I'm not selling my shops. Jazzy, sit down somewhere, And I'm thinking, but don't you want to travel more? And, you love Tokyo. And, I'm in this mode right now because I'm excited. And I'm seeing all these cars, and I'm seeing my father, these teenage boys coming to my father, Mr. Paul, could you soup up my Lincoln? Mr. Paul, I just bought. Back then, in the 80s and 70s, a lot of these guys were buying the low riders, 67 Chevys. My father had a 1976 Aston Martin in the driveway, 67 Stingray, '66 Lincoln with the suicide doors. So all I know is beautiful cars and what my daddy can do to them. My father's cars then, car shows, magazines. I said, Dad, I'm telling you, you need to consider it. Girl, I'm not selling my baby. So, fine. Couple years later, we met a guy named Duke. Yes, that was his real first name, Duke. And he saw what my dad could do, and he had this big old truck. And he wanted my dad to soup up his truck and put these big tires on it, and I mean just really do it. Dual, exhaust, just loud, you name it. And my dad did. And he said, it's a nice business you got here. How long you been here? And my father told him, since I was a little girl. And he said, you ever get tired? My father said, there's no such thing as getting tired. I'm not tired. He said, well, Paul, you're getting a little older. My dad looked at him. He said, as long as I can walk, I can breathe, and I can go where I want to, and I can have my Cuban cigars and smoke my scotch, drink my scotch, I'm not too old. But I didn't realize he was asking certain questions because he was interested, right? He was interested. Needless to say, about 3 years later, my father sold his shop business to Duke. After Duke sent him about 40 or 50 cars to fix. He said he was impressed by his business model, his customer service, his location. See, location, business model, customer service. Those were the 3 things that he liked. And he made my dad an offer. So when you have a business that you want to get rid of, sell, or pass down, look at 3 things. What is your business model? Who is your competition? And please, please, please don't say I have no competition. If you have someone that's doing just a little bit of what you're doing, their competition. Write it down. Their competition. And what you need to now do is see exactly what they're doing and how they're doing it. Okay? Competition. Well, this person is here. I really don't like this area, so mine's in a better area. Let's sit back and let's play mole for a minute. Okay? A mole is like a troll. A mole will sit back, go into your business, ask certain questions. Okay? It's like the 14th law in the 48 laws of power. Okay? You want to case out the competition. You want to look and see what they're doing and see what you can do differently. You want to ask the right questions. You want to kind of get in there. But you get in there by being friendly. Okay? You get in there by posing yourself as someone that's not a threat. Because if you come to me and I sense that you're a snake or I sense that you're a threat, you're not going to get the right answers from me. As a matter of fact, I'm not going to talk to you. So when you have a business and you see a competitor, you need to get in there and kind of find out what they're doing and how they're doing it. Okay? Now, if you're better than them, there's still some things that they're doing that you're not. Just kind of look at what they're doing.
So Jasmine, let me ask you this. So I can bring everybody into this conversation. Let's do this for them on this blab. Let's just take a simple. Everybody's a coach nowadays or something like that. So let's take this business model. I'm a coach.
Okay.
I have a coaching profession. If we look at and we say, okay, I want to scale this coaching profession. I want to scale it. Let's say the buzzword now is everybody wants a 6-figure, coaching profession.
Yes.
What I want people to look at
Right.
and what I want people to understand is when you're positioning your business to sell, you have to ask yourself the structure that I'm in right now, because you can't sell yourself. Right. So I need people to think about this as you're building your business. If you're building it around yourself, you can't sell yourself. You have to be able to sell a system, a product, something that's transferable.
Right.
So in my coaching practice, we have systems that we can sell. This is the mode system. This is the genius leverage system. And so when I build out content, it's not about me. I'm always thinking, can someone else do this? Can someone else teach this? Can someone else sell this? So I want you guys to think about in your business right now, if we're just taking as a frame, a coaching business, do you have systems in place, or is everything built around you? Are you the star of the business? And what I mean by that is, once again, if you went off the scene, if you couldn't work for 2 weeks, a month, does it stop? Or do you have a system in place where people come together and someone else can teach your training? And so that's what you want to start thinking about in whatever business that you have right now. Can someone else step in and do it? Can someone else step in and do it? And if everything is built around you, this is just one framework that we're talking about. Something else we'll end up talking about, when you think about businesses, you want to think about businesses in terms of things that don't take so much effort from you. Because when we start talking about multiple businesses, I already know what people are thinking. They're thinking, my time is already strapped right now. My time is already gone right now. I couldn't even imagine having multiple businesses. And the reason why you can't imagine having multiple businesses is because everything is centered around you. If you're doing everything,
right,
what you see when we start talking about multiple businesses, you're trying to figure out, how can I get more time in the day? And so this is a whole new frame of thinking. A lot of entrepreneurs that I work with and a lot of business owners, they're still thinking like employees. They're still trading time for dollars. And whenever you're trading time for dollars, no, you're going to be maxed out. You're going to be maxed out. You can't get no more time. Everybody's always talking about, I wish I had more time. You can't get more time. We all get 24 hours a day. We all get 168 hours a week. We all get 86,400 a year. You're not getting any more time. So what you have to do is learn how to leverage your time. You want to find, if you want to have multiple businesses, now listen to this, that take minimum effort but give you maximum return. Minimum effort, but maximum return. So one of the businesses, and we didn't even know this, but one of the businesses Jasmine and I have together, not together as a partnership, but we're both dabbling in, is in the vendor business. So what do? I have a guy who goes and loads up the vending machines. I don't do anything to them. I don't even know where, I kind of have a sense where we have vending machines, but all I know is I get a check at the end of the month, right? And so a vending business. Exactly. I'm going to give you another business that you guys see it all the time. You guys see it all the time and never think about it. You drive past it all the time. Billboard signs. Billboard signs. You see it all the time. But how many of you have ever thought about who owns those billboard signs? Who owns those billboard signs? Well, I started asking that question one day and I found out who owns billboard signs. And so when we got into the billboard sign, and I need you to think about this. For some of those billboards, McDonald's is paying $25,000 a month. $25,000 a month to say McDonald's on the next exit 24, 25,000. Why? For them, it's prime real estate. It's prime real estate. And to own one of them, depending on what city you're in, what state you're in, you can actually get that sign. You can actually get it from anywhere between $10,000 to $25,000. And so if you can buy that, and you're earning $25,000 a month, you're earning $5,000. And now here's the genius part of it. It's double-sided. That $25,000 is just for one side. It's just for one side. And so another business that we're in, along with real estate, is mobile home parks. Now, here's the thing about thinking entrepreneurially. when I joined the military, I'm from Southern California. So my concept of a mobile home was mobile home. Like, that wasn't something we wanted. That wasn't in California. That's not something we knew about. When I joined the Army, there's Coach talking about it right now. RG is talking about it. When I joined the Army and people opened me up to that and said, oh yeah, we have a mobile home, and I started looking into it. Well, the second richest or third richest person in the world, who is Warren Buffett, happens to be one of the largest mobile home park owners in the world. Oh, so yeah. So Jasmine, see, I didn't even know Jasmine owned mobile parks as well. And so once you start thinking like this, guys, you'll start finding people. You'll start finding people that think in this level, they're doing the similar same things. They're doing the same things because that's where the money is. That's where the money is. So when you're thinking about these businesses and multiple businesses, when I say Jasmine has 30 businesses, you're wondering, like, how can she manage 30 businesses?
I delegate.
There we go. And so when you look at a Richard Branson, Richard Branson has 300 companies under the Virgin brand. How does he do it? Yep. Richard will tell you that he has dyslexia. He can't read a balance statement. But what has he figured out? You have a great idea. You come up with a system and you put other people around it to run the system, and you move on, because that's the true heart of an entrepreneur. I don't want to do day-to-day operations. I don't want to do A to Z stuff. That's not what excites me. What excites me is creating content and earning more money. That's what excites me. And so you have to now find things, lucrative things, that is going to take minimum effort for you. And so for our sign business, for our mobile home business, I have other people who know what type of investment we're looking for. They know what type of investment we're looking for. And when they find that, they're scouring all over the nation. And so this is what we're looking for. These are the numbers that we're looking for. This is the residual income that I'm looking for. I want to invest this much and I want to make this much. And so I had and I still have the same wealth coach today. When she told me that wealth didn't begin until I had $10 million in the bank, my relationship with money totally changed, because now I had the target that I needed to go after. But if you're still thinking from trading dollars for time, you're never going to get there, because there's not enough time in the day. You have to now learn how to leverage everything that you're doing. You have to learn how to leverage everything that you're doing. And so when you understand that, now you're looking for these opportunities to leverage. Like in the real estate market, I had so many friends who crashed during the real estate market because this is what they were trying to do. And I want everybody to remember this. You cannot ball and build at the same time. You cannot ball and build at the same time. And this is why many people get in trouble. They're trying to live the promise and the process at the same time. I knew for me that I was playing catch up. No one's coming to cash wheel out. I don't have no rich uncle getting ready to leave me an inheritance. I don't have a mom and dad getting ready to leave me an inheritance. So I had to play catch up. So I don't have time to ball and build. I'm all about building. I'm all about building. When I get, 60, I may slow down. But for these next 20 years, from 40 to 60, I'm all about building. For the last 15 years, I've been about building. And so it wasn't impressive. And what happens with people, 6 figures, oh, I'm earning 6 figures. That number means nothing to me when I'm in building mode. I'm in building mode. So $100,000 is nothing. It's nothing. It's nothing. When you're in building mode,
$1,000. It's nothing. It's the new $50,000.
Right. And I know it's hard for people to conceptualize that if you only have $20 in your checking account. I know you're saying, well, give me 100,000. I understand that. But what you need to understand is once you get that 100,000, like I tell everybody, people wonder how athletes get in trouble all the time. It's because they don't have a relationship with numbers. if you earn $1 million right now, well, automatically you only have 700,000 because you have to pay taxes. So you only have 700,000. So when people tell me, hey, I want to earn $1 million, well, you need to earn 1.8. So if you don't have this type of relationship with money and know your numbers like this, well, you'll make the million. And what most people do is spend the million, but they're already in debt. And that's what happened to athletes all the time. You made 2 million, but because of taxes and because of your accountant and because your lawyer and because you wanted to buy mama a house and buy grandma a house and buy your dad a truck, now you're broke. And before you even know it, it's gone. And so this is the relationship that we have to begin to change in our mind. So somebody has this business. Somebody has a business right now, and they want to scale it. They want to position it to, for other people to buy it. This is what I want to talk about. This is what your business needs to look like to become attractive for someone to buy it. And so, Jasmine, talk a little bit, just take it from that context there. If they had a consultant company and you wanted to buy it or someone else wanted to buy it, what are you looking for? What does it need to look like?
Okay, well, if it's a consulting company and a coaching business, which are usually, of course, virtual, you said it, you hit it on the head. What programs, because I'm not buying you. I don't want to buy, I'm not in the business of buying you. So what type of programs do you have that are lucrative and that are consistent in that business? For instance, I have the 6 months to wealth. I have the millionaire workshop, consistent. I have the workshops for, so funny, mobile home park ownership, vending machine ownership. I have workshops ongoing, systems, digital systems that I don't have to put any time in, that teach people how to start the ATM business with no money out of their pocket, okay, except for supplying their the products inside, which you can still get a line of credit for that as well. But I have several programs and systems that are automated. I don't touch anything. I don't do anything. You know what I mean? When I coach, I have VIP clients, okay? It is not hard to make 7 figures coaching. Let me just say that. I read really quickly, before I forget, you know, I'm getting old. I'm older than you. A guy that said, I want to build my coaching business to 100,000. That's not difficult. Because if you have systems that you can charge 10,000 for, how many clients do you need to buy those systems? You can make that in a week. I've done it. I have clients that pay me 100,000 a year as VIP clients, but guess what they're making? 7, 8, 9 million. I have one that I call the Pajama Millionaire, which I have a book coming out called The Pajama Millionaire, because he made his million in his pajamas, sitting at his computer with an Amazon store. So these are all systems that I have. If you don't have these type of systems in your consulting and coaching business, it is not sellable. It is not attractive to me, because now what do I have to do? I have to put a person in your place to be you. I'm not willing to do that. So when you look at companies online that offer coaching programs or offer certain programs, real estate programs, or things that are automated, and you never see a person, you never hear a person. Of course, when you call, there's a customer service number. That's what I'm looking for. I want something that I can just buy it and it's still making what you're making. I don't want you. I don't need you. You know what I mean? I can't buy you. You know, as far as a consulting business, as far as you, for instance, Jamila Corbett has a great system, you know, has a great program, a great business. If everything is not digital and if it's just Jamila, then what she has to do is now she has to create these systems. And in a year's time, she's going to have to come back to me with her numbers. Okay, Jasmine, this is what we made in 2015. Okay, I did put a little bit more of my time in it. So this is what I made. But in 2016, this is what I did. I followed your advice. I built these systems, and every week I was putting out something new. Every week I was buying a niche website, but it was still connected to my company. And I was putting out something new and attractive. So now my numbers in 2016, Jasmine, I made $3.4 million based upon all those systems. That's how many digital products and systems that I sold. Now Jamila has my attention. Now I'm thinking, oh, Jamila went from making $600,000 in 2015 to $3 million. Now we can talk. If it's not sellable, I'm not attracted to it. It's the same thing, Dr. Will, with real estate. If it's not something that's attractive to me, luxury real estate or something that I know is going to constantly have cash flow, and I have mobile home parks, I'm not attracted to it. So it has to be attractive because I can't buy you. I can't buy you as a person, because I will say this really quickly. Dr. Wayne Dyer, he did it the smart way. He was ready to pass away. He said it in his last seminar that I attended. And so what he did was, even now, because the week after his death, guess what happened? Go on Amazon right now and look at all his books and what they're priced at. He had everything down, how he wanted things to be after he passed away. I have introduced him to many people that didn't know who he was. And now look, he has left a stamp on the world. Everyone will know him years from now. People's children's children will know him because he has movies that people have never seen. He's had seminars, he's got videos, he's got books that are everywhere. So he knew what he was doing. He purposely left these products, okay, for people to always be able to learn from. And they'll be here. Look at Napoleon Hill. Look at James Allen. Look at all these books. The people that have passed away. Zig Ziglar. They created systems and books, and I still hear Zig Ziglar's voice when I listen to him on the podcast. And he's gone. They were very smart. If you don't have a business outside of you, if there are no automated systems, okay, anything that I create things that I know people are interested in. Multiple streams of revenue. Businesses to start for under $100. Businesses to start for under $500. Businesses to start for under $1,000. Guess what? People want that stuff. They're in a corporate rat race. That bullshit. I didn't say that bomb. And they're ready to get out. So guess what they're doing? Jasmine, please, multiple streams of revenue. Here you go. Let's get it. The next course starts on October such and such. Guess what? They're automated. You know what I mean? Perfect. So if it's not something that is brandable outside of you, if not branding that coaching system, if you're branding yourself, you're doing it wrong, baby. You have to brand the system. You have to market the system. And if you don't have a system, create one. It is very easy. First things first, audio. Audio is going to be your best friend. I don't have time to sit down and write. My books were all done by me walking around this house recording. And I have an amazing person to transcribe. No lie, right? A lot of my systems, same way. Audio will be your best friend. If you can't sit down and just create. And I read somebody earlier, they said, when we were talking about Branson, well, Branson's a billionaire, he can delegate. Let me tell you something. Before I got to where I am and before Will got to before we got to 8 figures, let me tell you something. We know about Elance, we know about Odesk, we know about virtual assistants, we know about Fiverr. We did what we needed to do, okay, until we could hire people on our team and put them on salary. There is no excuse for you not to have help. There is no excuse for you to be wearing 20 different hats. Now, yes, at first you may wear 3 or 4, but there is no reason that you can't hire an assistant and pay her $65 for this extra work. And I have found assistants for $3, $4, and $5 an hour. Come on now. Okay. Fiverr has some amazing gigs. And even if you upsell, you're not going to, for a virtual assistant and people like that, $65, $70. And they get a lot done. So there is never an excuse. Never, ever an excuse for you to say, I can't delegate. You don't want to delegate. See, I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm a lazy millionaire. I delegate everything I can. Okay, other than what I got to do for myself personal. Believe that. There's something for everything. Laundry service, a cook that'll come to your house, a cook that'll prep your meals for the week, put them in the oven for 30 minutes. There is always somebody that you can delegate to. So there are no excuses for you not to delegate.
And let me say this, and so people can understand when we talk about a system. How many of you are familiar with Jack Canfield?
Oh, I love Jack.
And the Chicken for the Soup series. Jack hasn't owned the Chicken for the Soup series now for about 10 years. He hasn't owned that book series for about 10 years. They sold it. Him and Mark Victor Hansen sold it to a company in Asia. There's a company in Asia who buys all of Jack's stuff, Tony Robbins, Nick Boucher. And so when you see all of these guys going on tour in Indonesia, Budapest, Germany, and the UK, it's a company in Asia that buys the rights to their company. They buy them outright, and then they pay them, Jack Canfield, Les Brown, all of these guys, they pay them a speaking fee, $50,000, $100,000 to come and show up. South Africa, we're getting ready to go to South Africa next year, to show up because people are still associating Jack with the brand, but Jack built that brand, the Chicken Soup for the Soul. And so now any book you see that's coming out right now, he's licensed out his name, Jack Canfield, but he doesn't own the Chicken for the Soup company anymore. They sold it out. And so this is an arena that many people don't think about, but Jack was able not to build himself, but build the Chicken Soup for the Soul brand. So you see Chicken Soup for the Soul for moms, for dads, for cats, for dogs, for fishermen, for golf men, for teachers, for troubled teens, blah, 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 blah. And so they created a system. And this is the major thing that's really going to help you build wealth. If you really want to build wealth, your ability to create systems and be able to sell those systems. So to give you an idea, for my company, we just sold a program for diversity, a diversity program for corporate America. We developed it. We taught it. I taught it a couple of times through a couple of Fortune 500 companies. We saw the bite on it. We saw that everybody was interested in it. And now we sold it to those companies. They paid us to come in and teach their facilitators. And now we just sold it off. And so there's so much different opportunities out there to do this, but you got to be thinking on this level. And what a lot of entrepreneurs do, they get business trapped. And what I mean by that is they fall in love with the business, and business is not emotional. This is not an emotional thing. This is not an emotional thing. And so the example I always give people, if you think about Oprah Winfrey, if she started off trying to build her school in Africa, would she have been as successful? No, she built the business, and the businesses allowed her to go and pursue her passion. So right now, I always tell people we have to pursue profit. Passion comes later. You got to pursue profit, because that's why a lot of you are going broke, because you're pursuing passion and you're getting emotional about it. And so your pricing is emotional. And so you're saying, well, I just want to help people. I don't want to price anybody out. But then you're going to become frustrated, because now you're going to start saying people don't want to buy. People are cheap. People always no. Yep. Once you put it in the right system, listen, why don't people go to their mechanic and things like that, Jiffy Lube, and try to get the hookup? No, you see the price, you pay the price, you get the service. Right. Why aren't people, I'm trying to get, no. If you build your systems, this is the price. You've never went to McDonald's and said, let me get the Big Mac for 99 cents. No, they have a system in place, and they don't compromise on that system. And so that's what you got to think about as well. Any help or advice for doctors? Are you talking about a medical doctor? because I work with dentists, I work
Selling
with
his
lawyers,
practice?
I work with all type of businesses to help them start thinking like this, especially for doctors and lawyers and things like that. See, what happens with doctors like you, Dr. Swansea, you guys have the money, but you don't have the time because you're tied to your
Right.
business. And so what we do is find systems for you, whether it be real estate, whether it be ATMs, whether it's vending machines. What you need to figure out is, because your problem is not going to be money, your problem is going to be diversity. Your problem is you probably have all of your money tied into the practice. So now you need to figure out, what do I need and how do I need to invest this money? Because usually the doctors that I talk to and work with and the lawyers, it's not a money issue that they're having, it's time. They're not seeing their family. They don't have any freedom, because if they're not in the office, they're not making any money. And so what you've really done is created a velvet prison, what I call a velvet prison. And so what we do is find out the right investments for you that you can walk away, in terms of, if you wanted to close down your practice for 2 weeks and go on vacation, you can do that. It's so sad how many doctors I talk to and lawyers who haven't been on vacation in years, because if they're not working the practice. And then a lot of doctors, and Dr. Swansea, you probably went through this, you know, you've hired other doctors and they've done the wrong thing. It's because your system wasn't in place. And so we teach doctors how to put the right systems in place where they can bring in other people to facilitate while they're gone for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and things like that. And so I have a partner who has another business where he rents out, is a rented doctor. And so while you're gone for 2 weeks, this other doctor comes in and runs your practice.
I have a question for Dr. Swansea. Dr. Swansea, have you ever considered having and I know your family practice, but have you ever considered having a private label product in your practice? Have you ever considered your own supplements or things of that nature? I actually have a doctor right now that I'm working with, and he is creating private label supplements. When I went to Dr. Seaby's retreat and I went out to his, facility out in California also, we talked about some things. I actually have a holistic company launching as well. And I will tell you this, holistic is on the rise. So believe it or not, doctors right now, outside of your practice, outside of considering franchising, okay, I want you to start thinking about maybe a private label product, health product. There are a lot of opportunities for doctors. You just have to know, especially depending on what practice. One of my cousins is a cosmetic surgeon in Atlanta, Georgia. And what he's done is he has a process in which he transfers fat to different areas of the body. He's very opposed to butt implants and things like that. So he transfers fat. So he has this system that he does. And of course, he's, opening up his another practice. Well, he also is going into a private label product. You do sell a few supplements. Okay. So what you should consider, since you have already started to put that offer out there and make people interested in it, you should definitely consider private label products. It is something that is on the rise. You always have people, and partner. If you're in family practice, consider it partnering with maybe a local or small gym facility or personal trainers. And I'll tell you why. Have you ever had a client that came to you and you knew that you gave them the advice to get into a workout regimen, a workout plan? Well, you can partner, and what can happen is that fitness trainer, dietitian, nutritionist or whatever, you guys can partner together. And what's happening is both of you are kind of spreading the word about each other's businesses. Okay. So now you have your supplements, and then you're also doing something on the health side outside of the office.
And Dr. Swanson, let me ask you this. What is your specialty? Because this is what I help a lot of doctors come up with. So for instance, you may know Ariza. You know, we have a company where we help. You know, one of the big problems in a medical facility, especially for doctors, is the claims process, getting your money from the claims process. You don't have a lot of time to fight and argue with the health department and administration and Blue Cross and all that type of stuff. So we created a company where now medical facilities, they hire us to do their fighting for us. Now, I'm not a medical doctor. I didn't know anything about that. I just heard enough doctors complain about it. And so bioidentical hormone replacement. So I don't know what that is. And I'm sure that is a niche that you could become the expert in. So I would say write a book, start looking at doing some seminars on that for other doctors who need to do family practice. And so for other doctors that need this type of information, you have a niche. Like one of the things how we got working with medical facilities is we found out that a lot of doctors, a lot of lawyers, they were starting businesses and didn't have any business acumen. They had their skill set as being a doctor, they had their skill set as being a lawyer, but they didn't know how to run a business. So we facilitate trainings for doctors and lawyers and chiropractors who have their own businesses, but they don't know how to run it. And so we come in and give them the foundational training of how to run a company. So these are things that each of you that are listening to us, these are things that you can start doing, thinking outside the box. It doesn't have to be so much a passion of what you do. It's really about, once again, when you start looking at entrepreneurs solve problems. That's what we do. We solve problems. So start figuring out ways you can solve problems. It may not be per se what you went to school for or something like that, but once we started figuring out that all these doctors and dentists and lawyers were having the same issue, they were having the same issue. And I love what Jasmine said. For instance, I have another business partner. He saw that I was going into all of these companies and doing all this training. And he came to me and said, man, Will, I have a service company that teaches companies how to train their secretaries on how to answer the phone and how to, you know, all that better in process. And so we created a partnership. Whenever I go into a company and I talk about service and sales and things like this, I'm now able to recommend his company, and everybody that he gets in, I get a share of that. And so there's multiple ways you can earn money out there, guys, but you got to be thinking like an entrepreneur.
I agree. And that's the thing. I think a lot of people, like you said before, they get so stuck into the 9-to-5 worker mindset, worker bee mindset, that they don't really know how to think like an entrepreneur. And what ends up happening, Dr. Will, is, you know, they hire yourself, they hire me, because they have to get out of that. That mindset will keep you in hustle mode. That mindset will kind of keep you, you know, fearful, and you'll procrastinate, and you won't see your business grow. You won't see your business make the money that you want to make. You know, I think it's very important to know that there are a lot of businesses that people on here are probably like, oh, yeah, I probably can't do that. I own this type of business. The truth is, you'd be surprised, you know, if your business is doing what you want it to do, if you can grow it. And here's the thing, who said you had to do it by yourself? You have two professionals right here, right now, giving you free content. Now, let me say this. I know for a fact that Dr. Will and myself's free content is better than most people's paid shit. I'm going to be honest with you. Dr. Will and myself, as I've listened to his Periscopes, I've listened to his blabs, his free content is better than most people's paid stuff. And me too. Don't think that you can't. What you do is, you know, sit back, replay this, look at some of the things that you're thinking about, some of the things that were put out there that you didn't even know about, okay? And start to look at your business. write down, this is when I started my business. Okay. This is what my business has done. This is where we lost some money. Oh, I probably could have expanded here, but I didn't. Why didn't I? And write those reasons. Okay, I don't have a coach or a consultant in my life, so maybe it's time for me to consider that. The truth is, a lot of times businesses don't get to another level because you think you can do it all by yourself. You can't do it all by yourself. At some point, and Dr. Will and I both are self-made. We didn't have any help in the beginning, but we got to a point where we knew we wanted a mentor. We wanted a coach, and we invested in that. If you want your business to be sellable, you have to invest.
And let me say this, because we're coming up on an hour and a half. Let me say this, guys. Everything is learnable. Everything is learnable. I didn't grow up in a business. Well, I take that back. My dad was an entrepreneur his whole life. Now, the thing about it was I rejected what I knew about my father because he was on the other side. My dad was a drug dealer. But when my coach began to work with me, she got me to reframe what I thought about my father. And she said, Will, what are the lessons that you learned? Because business is business. And she began to help me reframe, because I always looked at it as a negative. He didn't have anything to teach me. That's not the route I'm going. But when she set me down and said, let's reframe what a drug dealer is really trying to do, because they're really trying to go after the American dream as well. They're just going after it the only way they know how. My father was a drug dealer. He owned gambling houses. He owned real estate. He owned a chicken shack, exactly what the type of stuff I'm doing now. And when I was growing up, I didn't see how all of it was related. And maybe he was doing it to keep the, police office trail, having all that diversity, but that's what you need to do. And so when the gambling house wasn't making that much money, this was making money. When that wasn't doing so well, that was doing so. So what most people have is all their eggs in one basket. And so I had to reframe how I thought about that. But all of this, guys, all of this that we're talking about right now is learnable. It's learnable. And so whenever you're going into different stores, whenever I go into a different store, I don't care what it is, I'm always asking, especially the smaller stores, jewelry shops and things like that, and you'll be amazed. Like, I was just at a jewelry store the other day, and let me say this. For most of you that are on here, you have to reframe your thinking about what wealth looks like. You have probably passed some of the most wealthiest people you will ever meet on the planet, but because they didn't look rich, you didn't think they were wealthy. And we have been bamboozled and fooled as the images of what the images of rich and wealthy look like. The majority of the individuals, and when I say the majority, 95% of the individuals that are classified as wealthy, 10 million and above, you would not even recognize them on the street. They'll walk right past you with a pair of Levi jeans and some Pro-Keds on, and you wouldn't even know it. Why? Because they're into asset building. Now, maybe on Sunday, they pull out the Bentley convertible, but Monday through Saturday, they're in a Honda Excel, they're in a Toyota Camry, and you wouldn't even know. Because they don't want to be on the radar. They don't want to be on the radar. They're more concerned about building assets. So you got to recondition your mind about what it looks like. And so when I talked to this guy in this jewelry store, because I know now what it looks like, I knew that this wasn't his only shop. And so when I asked him, I said, and people always look at me because I'm asking these questions, and then they, But I asked him, I said, how many more shops do you have? And he says, why do you ask me that? I said, I know this is not your only shop. How many more shops do you have? He says, he starts to laugh. That's what I call the wealthy laugh. Right? He says, oh, we have about 15 more. I'm here in Phoenix, all throughout the valley. He said, you've probably been in some of my shops. We have them in this mall, in all the malls we have them, and then they have a couple of standalone. And so you got to start really paying attention. Anybody who has a standalone business, anybody who has a business, they're doing something probably right, because they have an overhead, they have something. And so you can learn, and you can start learning from these people, but you got to be more inquisitive. Start asking different questions. When you go to certain things, who is providing the tablecloths for the restaurant that you go to all the time? Who is providing their food? That's how Magic Johnson got involved in all these different ventures, because he started asking different questions. Who's providing the meals, the meat for McDonald's? Who's providing the bread for McDonald's? Where is it all coming from? When you start asking those types of questions, it sends you. And now, guys, we're in a world right now where everything is at your fingertips. With Google, with the internet, everything is at your fingertips. I mean, doggone, you can go to any major university right now online. They're offering free business courses. Just, they're doing these free podcasts or anything. So anything that you want to really learn about is out there, guys. It is out there. And so I see we're going to have to do this again, Jasmine, because I think it is a topic that, and I saw some great quotes from some other people that I'm going to connect with after I go through the quotes and the comments, that I think we should really look at this, because this is how you build wealth. You build wealth by building companies and selling companies. That's how true wealth is built. If you look at Bill Gates, any of the top 25 on the Forbes list, you'll see how diversified they are. I call it the Big Mac system. They're going to have their Big Mac, but they also have chicken McNuggets. They also have quarter pounder. They also have the chicken wrap. They also have, and they also have, and they also have. So yeah, find your Big Mac. Your Big Mac may be the business you fall in love with, but you need to have your chicken McNuggets. You need to have your cheeseburger. You need to have your hamburger. You need to have your fries. You need to have your sundae. You need to have all of that, guys, if you're going to have a sustainable wealth building system. So I know we're coming up on an hour and a half. Jasmine, how can people connect with you? I know you have a book coming out. Tell them when your book is coming out. Tell them your website. How can people connect with you?
I have a physical book coming out called The Art of Wealth, and it is coming out on November 27th, actually. I have another book out called The Pajama Millionaire. That's an ebook that's going to be coming out. Jasmine O'Day right now is getting a makeover, so it will not be launching until Monday, but the 6 months to wealth site is up. You can subscribe to that newsletter. I do send out business tips every week. Every week I send out business tips for the 6 months to wealth. And I actually have the Money Mastermind group is also available on the 6 months to wealth. I wanted to address a really quick question from Walada before she said, can you offer some guidance to someone like me who is low on cash but has freedom? If you have time freedom, what I want you to do is sit back and look at your gifts, your talents. What did you do in corporate America? Write those things down. What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? Believe it or not, I have had several clients freelance, not realizing they could freelance. There is a lot of money in freelance. I'm always hiring somebody to write copy. Dr. Will is too. Freelance, writing copy, writing blogs, any type of freelance, editing, transcribing, as I said earlier. If you have that freedom to do that, you can freelance. You can definitely freelance, because you can freelance. You're very good at copywriting. There you go. There you go. You need to create a profile on Fiverr. On Elance and Odesk is now another company now, Dr. Well, I can't think of it off the top of my head. But anyway, you can offer freelance services. Put yourself out there like that. There are too many. You can do virtual assistant, create a website and become a virtual assistant. You have the time to do that kind of stuff. So there are so many ways that you can make money. I always tell people when they say I don't have the money, I said, I don't believe you. And I don't say it to be rude, but here's the truth real quick. And then we can close out. I had a woman come to me. She said she didn't have the money to do this, this, and that, but yet she had cable, which was $240 some dollars. You got to be careful telling me certain things because I see the right direction. Okay. So you know what I said to her? So let me ask you something. Why don't you go into your closet and I want you to look at things that you haven't worn in several years. I want you to look at items that you no longer use and I want you to liquidate. I want you to sell. If you're really serious about doing ABC, then I want to see what you're willing to do for it. If you have clothes that you haven't worn in 4 or 5 years, you're probably not going to wear them. Okay. Why do you have a cable bill that's almost $300 and you watch 4 channels? And you really have it for Empire, and Empire comes on Fox. So you really don't even need cable when there's Hulu, Netflix, Vudu, and Amazon Prime TV and Apple TV. So I say that to say this, and Dr. Will say that too. Neither one of us do excuses. The internet and books are a wealth of knowledge and information. You have 2 people right here that give you an hour and a half of valuable content. Valuable content. So now we've planted the seed. All you have to do is go do some more research. Right, Blab University. All you have to do is go do some research. Reach out to Dr. Will on DM on Twitter. Reach out to me, DM on Twitter. Listen to our Periscopes. You know, I just did a free call on this past Wednesday. Yes, JasmineO'Day.com is getting a beautiful makeover. I don't know. I haven't seen it yet. Can't wait. But you can go to 6 months to wealth. The number 6 months, MONTHS, TO, wealth.com, and sign up for the newsletter and get a free business tips every week from me. But yeah, I do think, Dr. Will, we should do this again. I think we should coordinate offline. I've got some ideas based on this blab. I know you and I are going to start teaching people how to create systems so that they can enhance their coaching and consulting business. Because the truth is, I have a funny feeling in a couple months, we're going to start getting some emails of people that are looking to sell their business, and they're probably going to want some insight. Hey, is it ready? Hey, what do you think? Hey, and so I think that if we do something like that, thank you so much for posting that. I think that it will help them prepare themselves and their businesses for that next level. If they do want to make the $100,000 a year, they will be able to do that based upon what we just told them. Up the price of your systems. You're not going to do that selling your systems for $100. And if you offer a price for a certain amount of time, then guess what? Elevate that price after that time is over. Don't offer it anymore like that. And then you already know what you can do. Lure them in, increase your price based upon your experience and the lifestyle that you're trying to sustain. Now, don't be some of these people out here that's I'm a coach, and you don't know what the hell you're doing. Please don't be that person. Don't do that. Integrity is very important. Be that person that has a system that is proven, that you have tested, that you have mastered, that you have put some time into to create, and sell it. There are people right here that have told us what they want. It's very easy. Based on this scope, people want to make money. They want 6- and 7-figure businesses. They want to be able to sell them. They want generational wealth. Simple as that. It's real easy, huh, Dr.
And guys, and what it's really about, it's really about exposure. And what I mean by that is what we talked about today, and we didn't even get into our real personal stories and things like that. But both of us have went through being homeless. Both of us have went through having 7 figures, losing 7 figures, and building it again. And the reason why we could build it again is because we have systems, and we know the systems that are in place. Like I tell people this all the time: you can put me in the jungles of Rwanda, give me 6 months, I'll be a millionaire because I know the systems. I know what it takes. I'll be selling bananas to monkeys because I know the system. And so once you realize the system, and this is all it is, most of you have never set out and said, I'm going to be a millionaire. Now, everybody wants to be, and I just wrote a book about this, The Copycat Millionaire, but everybody wants to be, but no one usually has made the choice to be. And it's a big difference. See, if I ask you if you want a bigger house, everybody wants a bigger house. Everybody wants a bigger car. Everybody wants a bigger bank account. But have you made that choice? See, once you make a choice, then you start making decisions in line with that choice. And so what Jasmine just talked about, when you make the choice, I'm getting out of debt. When you make the choice, I'm going to be a millionaire. When you make the choice, I'm going to be wealthy. Now you look at your decisions. So now you start asking yourself, does cable help me with this choice? No, that's a decision. The word decision means to cut away, decide, decision, right? It means to cut away. So now I start looking at, does buying these Jordans for my teenager for $200 help me with this choice? It doesn't. I got to cut it away. It's just like when you make the choice to lose weight. Do these ho-hos, do these ice cream that's eating at 10 o'clock at night help me with the choice I said I've made? Now, let me tell you how easy it is to be balance sheet millionaire. I want you to think about this. And it may take you a year and a half, 2 years, but if you bought 10 houses, each worth $100,000 in 18 months to 2 years to 3 years, 10 years. If it took you 10 years to buy 10 houses, you weren't going to have $1 million anyway doing what you're doing. So when you think about this, when you make the choice to become a millionaire, these type of ideas will start. I take my clients through just like it, speed to million, just like that. You know how many houses you can buy on foreclosure? Don't get me started. There's so many ways. There's so many ways out there once you make the choice and you get serious. See, if you're serious, I tell people all the time, I only work with serious entrepreneurs, people that are serious. That means you've given the right away to all your excuses. I'm not saying life is not going to happen, but you've given that right away to complain. I told you guys that was following me on Periscope the other day. I just fired a client. And this person was a part of my mastermind group, paid thousands of dollars, and I fired them. Why? Because I don't care about the money. I'm not going to waste my time with people who are not committed and serious, because life is too short. And so I've already made the choice of how I want to invest my life. I want to invest my life with people like Jasmine, with people like that are on this blab with us, that are hungry and serious. That's the decision that I've made. So guys, make the choice. If you haven't honestly looked at yourself and asked yourself, like, have I really made the choice? I know I said I wanted to be successful, but have you made the choice to be successful? That's a big difference, guys. And I know it seems like it's a play on words. It's not. It's not. There's everybody. See, everybody wants to be successful. Not everyone has made the choice to be successful. And when you make the choice to be successful, then you make the decisions that are in line with that choice. And so now when you start looking at your decisions, man, what I'm doing right now for you guys that are on this blab, it was a decision. I hope now you see it was a valuable decision. This versus watching 2 hours of Real Housewives of whoever or Honey Boo Boo or whatever, right? Once you make a choice, all your decisions are in line with the choice you just made. So guys, that's what I want you to start thinking about. Have I made the choice to be wealthy? And now do all of my decisions line up with that choice? If you can say those two things, I've made the choice, and now all of my decisions, speed of light. And every time I tell people this, money is the easiest thing to earn. It is, once you have the correct system. Once you have the correct system, money is the easiest thing to earn. Right now, since we've been on this blab in an hour and a half, one of my accounts I have connected to my PayPal, and I just have it connected to my phone so it could just go off every few minutes. Every few minutes. Bing!
I know. That's why I keep looking down.
Bing! Bing! And if you look at my phone, all you see is P's all across here. P's for PayPal. While I've been on here an hour and a half with you guys, it's ping, 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 ping.
Yeah.
All
That's
day
why
long,
I kept
guys.
looking down. I'm like, darn, okay.
And that's just one, just to keep me motivated. We have several. That's just one to keep me motivated, to remind me, Will, you got to be making money 24 hours a day. 24 hours a day. And so
every day.
So guys, choose to be wealthy, choose to be successful, choose to be healthy, choose to be happy, choose to be a blessing. Once you start making these different choices and then making all your decisions in line with those choices, life changes for you guys. Life changes. So definitely we're going to do this again. Me and Jasmine, we didn't get together and formulate a class or anything, and so the next time we do it, it's going to be a lot more tailored. I hope this was value added for you, but I can see that we have a formation of a course going on here. So we're going to get together and put something more tailored together that you guys can walk away with. Maybe some handouts or something that you guys can join. Maybe a monthly wealth call or something like that. But please, go check us both out. I don't want anybody to blindly follow me, listen to me. I mean, go check me out. Go check Jasmine out, and you can vet us and let the results be your guide. Don't let your conscience be your guide. Don't let your emotions be your guide. Let the results be your guide. So guys, I do have to take off. I thought this was going to be like a 30, 45 minute blab. I'm still on here. And you see what, but I'm passionate about this, guys. This is what I'm passionate about. Now, I did want to mention this. Marcy, is it Marky? I don't know how to pronounce that, but I know he was mentioning, or she was mentioning, that someone may want to do an after blab about this. Are you going to head that up, Marcy?
Oh.
Is someone going to do an after blab? If you are, I just want everybody to know so they can go follow you. So are you going to set it up? Are you going to do it? Are you going to set it up? So anybody, okay, so XMARCHY, they just want to have like an after party about what we just talked about, and you guys share ideas and swap with each other. I have to run, but they're going to set it up. So give them about what you want to do it at the hour. So that would be at 6 o'clock my time, 9 p.m. Eastern time. That gives everybody time to go to the bathroom, do whatever, regroup or whatever. And 1 hour is perfect. Okay, so everybody, she says, I'm sorry, I can't see the picture down there. I don't know. Somebody's saying, why not do it now? But I'm out of that. I got to go. I'm out of that. Jasmine, thank you. I'll connect with you later. I don't know when they're going to do the after blab. But guys, coordinate, do something, and go out there and live genius. Because like I always say, average is no fun.
That's right.